What's going on, everyone? My name is Nick. Welcome back to Comic Culture. Today we're going to do a little run through on the collection, how they're organized, what different books I have on display, the different figures and Legos and whatnot. And we'll even touch on the arcade one-ups behind me because some people in comments have been asking about that and what kind of mods they might have. So stay tuned. Let's get into it. All right, guys, let's take a look at the collection. I'll try to not be as Blair Witch as I can be while doing this, but let's start with the shelving units. So I got these shelving units at IKEA. I can link the ones I have down in the description. There's 3 different ones, so you can just build them and put them side by side. I had some custom shelves that I built with pull-out drawers and whatnot, but I noticed that it didn't really fit my needs any longer as the collection grew. I got right around 1,000 books right now. And typically around 1,000, I say, I have a few more than I probably need. Let me go through and get like a half a short box full of stuff and see if my shop will give me some credit for it. And then I typically just, reinvest that credit into some minor keys if I get enough. So the way that the books are actually organized down below in those bottom 2 rows are alphabetically. So we have our A's starting here, and then it goes through, and then it snakes around to here, and then it finishes out. Now, The Walking Dead I have all together because that just made sense, but all the publishers are mixed. I just find that it's a whole lot easier to sort and to find things when they're all just mixed together in an alphabetical order and then by issue number. It's just way easier, I found. So one other thing I do is I added these sticky notes underneath to kind of bookmark where a certain series ends, just as a quick reference when I'm adding new books. And then these white magazine holders, some of them have things in them, some of them don't. I use them as spacers or as ways of housing kind of full runs or complete stories. And then I use the top shelves just to kind of showcase some cool things that I found. So I have my Batman dedicated top, which I have some figures on there. I'm not a big figure guy. I like Legos. We'll get to that in a minute. And then obviously comic books. I swear I find that Batman, The Breaking of Batman, of the Batman. I find that book everywhere. I think I have a few copies of that book. And maybe I'll get one graded one day. They all seem to be in really good shape. Love me some Hush. I love that Joker, that Art Germ Joker cover, that anniversary cover. And then the button, if you guys may have seen that one in the origin story video I did. So Star Wars got me a nice reprint, number 1 there. And then I just threw some covers up that I liked. And then since the High Republic came out, I just got that variant and thought, hey, that would look good right there. And then as we move on to The Walking Dead, you guys know if you watch my origin story, I got a lot of history with The Walking Dead. It's one of the shows that got me into comic books. And side note, if you were in the celebration stream with Robbie and the PCP Army for 10K, Robbie had a story about him going to Nashville at a con, and there was a bunch of people in line to see The Walking Dead folks, and he was not one of those folks. I was one of those folks. I got all Abraham's army. I got Jesus there. I got Carl. Carl's down there set aside because that covers okay. And then I got a Negan and an Ezekiel in there. Hey, to each his own, right? All right, so let's go up top. More interesting stuff. From The Walking Dead, we got our Infinity Gauntlet. We got our Legos. So I was in the Legos before comic books. My wife would actually buy me Star Wars Legos for Christmas or birthdays or something like that. I absolutely loved building them. So I got a nice little collection of them here. I found the old Chewbacca carrying C-3PO on his back. And of course I just have a mix. Got me a little DeLorean there. This is my wife's Vader helmet. It has a little chest piece that makes sounds and breathes and things like that. Of course, Ghostbusters. You'll see some Rick and Morty stuff in here too. Yep, and then I got little Ghostbusters down there, and then Jurassic Park, and then the First Order tie. some little bobbleheads and other Star Wars stuff. Falcon, little Scarlet Witch, and then my little $3 Goodwill find, little dinosaur from Jurassic Park. It's pretty cool. All right, moving up. So I'll try to stay out of the glare, so I'll have a little downward approach here. So all my graded books I found raw, except for the one Outcast one right here. I bought that one already signed and graded, but everything else I found raw and sent in myself. So I was pretty happy with that. 9.6 ASM. Don't know why this Black Widow is, you know, it's one of those second appearances that's worth practically nothing. I don't know what the price is now, but I think I only paid like $30 for it a couple years ago. So who knows? Maybe it's up now. And then of course, a lot of people have that Wolverine, God Country. What a great series that is, and I'm loving how crossover is bringing that full circle. Star Wars, those big Whitman prints, love those. Got a couple of those. And there's my little, to Nick and Jennifer. Jennifer's my wife. This is Gus from Breaking Bad. Love the show. It was a cool little thing. Of course, we got our Rogue, got our Ice Cream Man. J. Scott signed Strange Academy #1. I talked about Cable, my origin story, so I had to get a first Cable, and I just got it graded just for preservation's sake, I suppose. I knew it wasn't going to be a high grade, but I just wanted it encased because it sounded like a cool thing to do when I first started collecting comics. Same goes with that Killing Joke. How did I miss a 9.8 on this one? I bet it's that stupid white tick. You can probably see it right there in the corner. That little white tick is probably what got me to a 9.6. Who knows? Infinity Gauntlet. This Rick and Morty is really cool. I actually met CJ Cannon at a Free Comic Book Day event at a local shop here in Middle Tennessee, and she was really, really nice. Took some pictures with her. She did a Rick sketch for me, and that was a really, really cool day. Just got that Secret Wars maybe like a month ago. It's definitely a reader copy. It's all beat up. It's wrinkled. Doesn't look great, but it's a newsstand, and I didn't have it, and I got, you know, the wrong Spider-Man little figure next to him, but who cares? Still Spider-Man. Speaking of Spider-Man, I bet nobody else has that one. Cool Walking Dead. This is actually only found at the Bed and Breakfast in Kentucky. I think Robert Kirkman's from that area, and this is the only place you can find it. You can find it on eBay probably, of course, but a friend of mine got that copy for me, so I really, really appreciate that. Shout out to Scott and Elizabeth. Harley, first solo run, I believe. Of course, we got our X Factor, Omega Man. Omega Man's in really good shape. And then second, Deadpool. Again, X-Force was one of my first run that I've ever tried to put together, so I think I have a couple copies of that. And then up top, you saw this in my origin story and unboxing videos. Little Something's Killing the Children 9.8, signed, X-Men, Stan Lee signed, and then my dual signed Department of Truth. So that's what's up here. I rotate these books out rarely, unless I get a key or just a cool cover like Ice Cream Man. But these books usually stay up here all the time until I find something cooler to throw up. So nothing insanely expensive, right? I mean, these are all, you know, a few hundred or less, and the majority of these are 100 or less, I'd say. So pretty cool. Let's move on to the arcade one-ups. So man, these things are awesome. If you're not familiar with arcade one-ups, they're scaled down versions of real arcades, and they have real licensed games on them. They come disassembled in a box, and you put them together. You can find them at Walmart. Sometimes you can find them at Target. Usually they're the counter size ones that sit on top of a countertop. And then you can also find them at like Kohl's, in my experience anyway. So the Marvel Superheroes is the first one I ever got. This is the one that kind of got me into them. I thought it would look great with my comic books, and I played a couple of those games. I played, I think, The Punisher and Children of the Atom when I was a kid, and didn't, you know, go through too many quarters in that with these games growing up, but I remember them existing, and I remember playing them a couple times. But I basically got it for the aesthetics and it was on sale. And I think I had gift cards and things like that, and I thought it would look cool with everything else. So I went ahead and got it, and just having a blast with it. My daughter loves to play as Iron Man in this, so yeah, why not? I got it. And then I'll save this black one for last because this one's has a little story behind it. Final Fight, I'd recommend Final Fight if you don't have one and you want to get into it. It's got a good variety of games. It's got Final Fight, great beat 'em up. 1944, which is a great shoot 'em up, one of those vertical shoot 'em ups kind of. It's got Ghosts and Goblins, which is, if you're in the retro 2D gaming, you should probably know what Ghosts and Goblins is. And it also has Strider, which is kind of like a Ninja Gaiden, or Ninja Gaiden, however you want to pronounce it, kind of a game. So it's pretty cool. And then Space Invaders, just a classic. I just love the art on this thing so much. So that's why I kind of have it on the outside, because I just absolutely love the art. So let's talk about mods. So the Marvel one and the Final Fight one are completely stock. They don't have any adjustments to them at all. Marvel's not even a special edition, it's just a standard edition, which is fine for me. The Space Invaders one, man, this thing is loud. It's very, very, very loud. So what I did was I actually found online that they make a volume mod that you can buy. So you have to splice some wires underneath this main controller board here. This comes up with some screws in the corners. This board comes up, there's a few wires, you splice them with the tool they give you. It's very easy. Don't feel that you can't do it because it's splicing wires. The way that they've done it is really, really brilliant and easy. And what it did was it kind of muted it a little bit. And so there is a volume rocker on here for the volume. There's like a low and a high. And so now it's actually playable on even the high setting, when before even the low is way too loud. Like I'd have to play it essentially muffled with like a coaster here prior to installing the mod. So there's a volume mod you can buy for the Space Invaders. You can Google it, and it's highly recommended. And then this one, this black one, is actually a whole custom built one. It's the same size as the Space Invaders one, because when I bought the Space Invader one, I traced out all the panels, all the pieces onto some decent quality MDF and cut it all out, added some trim, painted it, added a marquee, which lights up, and then got a little old computer monitor, threw it in there, and it's actually running on a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus. It has a few thousand games. And then it's got a custom UI in here too. So Atari, Daphne, Retro, MAME, Genesis, Nintendo, TurboGrafx 16, TurboGrafx CD, PlayStation, Super, and then back to favorites. So love it. Oh, shout out. New York represent. Western New York still counts, right? Lake Erie, Buffalo? No? Okay. Cappy's up there. So yeah, this one is a Raspberry Pi powered one, and it's not that difficult to do. I'll put some links in the description if you're interested. You can also just send me a message or leave a comment on this video. I can help point you into some other resources that you can look at to do exactly this. Now they do sell kits that you can actually just kind of, replace this board, and it kind of has the Raspberry Pi and it has the special connector to the monitor and things like that. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. But yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. So that kind of rounds out the whole thing. I only quote unquote own about a quarter of this room. Everything else behind me is my daughter's playroom. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. All right, I hope you liked the tour. If you have any questions or comments or want to know more about the modding or any of the books that I have or how I have them organized or the shelving units, let me know in the comments below. And while you're in the comments, hit that like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell, because it lets you know when I put out new content. Thanks again.